Welcome back to another episode of Broken in the Woods. It's the next day. Yesterday was just exhausting. Coming out here and looking at this, and it smells like diesel fuel. And you look in here. Nice puddle. Nice constant drip. No idea where it's coming from besides the gas tank. This is the state I left it in yesterday. It's working at, I think where I left off is I was beating a hammer on this thing, trying to decide if that was going to come off, because I didn't want to mess with the spaghetti factory over here. And it kept pretty good logs of what I was doing. Okay, so here we are on this side. Is it coming out of the fuel cock or the fuel stem? Obviously leaking right here. Alright, well, I wasn't sure if I had to take the fuel tank off before, but now I know I absolutely am going to take the fuel tank off and fix the leak. Because I went ahead and bought a brand new cap from the Kubota dealer, which is very, very nice. I'll show you the difference between the new one and the old one. Plus I put the breather tube on there. I cleaned that up and replaced the gasket underneath of it. I'll show you that too. So, let's get to disassembling this fuel tank. Get it off of there so we can figure out what's wrong with it. And let's try this again. That was fun last time. Okay, and okay. So the fuel tank is out. It was 2 bolts here on the top and 2 bolts here and there. Disconnected the fuel line, and now it's out. It's gone on its side. Let's see if we can see where it's leaking from. Get a paper towel. Hold on a second. Alright. See if we can see what we're looking at here. Take a look at what we're looking at here. Take this hose off too. Let's see. Flashlight. Maybe it's just leaking at the hose connection. Maybe this part right here. I don't know. You can see I disconnected it here. This fuel line's in pretty rough shape. So we'll just go ahead and replace all this with new fuel line. I'm pretty sure I've got some. I'll leave that like that though, until we can figure out where the leak's coming from. Overall, I think this gas can looks in great shape. What is this thing? You know, hole all the way through. Nice. Interesting. And then this was the breather. That was, oh, I'm sorry, that's the other thing I had to detach was the breather. Breather hose, did I tell you that? That was coming through here. I guess it's not the breather, it's his actual return line. So we'll want to replace this too. This is looking pretty messed up. I mean, it's still flexible and all, but I don't want to have a problem with it later. Okay, so the fuel tank is off. Let's take a closer look at this thing. Really dirty in here, but not for long. Okay. Okay, well, that doesn't need to stay here. Could put that in a box. Actually, let's put these screws back in. You can see there's a rubber isolation bushing on this thing. It looks like some garden hose spacers. Anywho, this is what was holding the fuel tank in place. So, in order for me to not lose the screws, I have been putting them back where they came from. It's a little gritty. When I reassemble these, I'll flush them out with WD. Just want to maintain their integrity. So yeah, I put this one in, but if you notice, this side's snapped off in there. So that's going to be a little bit of work. Okay, now we're on this side. See how dirty everything is. Get an idea of the other side. Actually looks pretty good shape. I'm going to try to get a pickle fork on here and pop this off. If that doesn't happen, I don't really want to try to do that. But, okay, so we're at this point. And again, we're going in here. So I think I can leave everything else over here to go with it. I'm just going to keep cleaning up and show you more in a minute. Okay. So what I've done is I took these 3 bolts out using a combination of a 19mm, a 3/4 open end, and a 19mm there. I think that might be 11/16. I'll show you in a minute. Anyway, they're all the same. Now this is loose. Okay, and then I put the hydraulic control section over here. It's kind of loops up there and sits there nicely. So now when I look at what's holding this side to this side, I've got this fuel line. I've got my accelerator linkage. See, that goes all the way up here. And that is, that's all this. It's this. That's the little pedal down there. And then when you operate this lever, that lever is moving this. Pick that up. Make all that happen. And one of the things I was noticing is, push on this. Look at that. So that doesn't seem right. But it only happens when you push on this part. Kind of strange. So I was going to disconnect this linkage, probably both places. I'm going to take it off completely so it doesn't get hurt. I'll look at the count the lines or mark it. Looks like it's what, 3 turns from the end. It's easy enough. If I take that off, then that frees that up. Take this off, that frees that up. I'm looking, there's a piece here that joins the back of the fuel tank plate to the engine. So I'll take that off. And then I thought, aren't there some bolts under here? Yep, right there. Right there on either side of the shaft. Right there, sorry. Those 2 bolts have to come off because that's part of this plate attaching the front part here, the back part there. So I wonder if it would have been easier to take those out. No, because they still have to take those out under there. So anyway, I'm going to work on taking this fuel line off and the accelerator linkage. So let's do that. Alright. This is called a pickle fork. And this is called a persuader. See, did it pop? That's nice and smooth. No, not yet. We're getting there. I think I might need a different pickle fork. Alright, well, we'll give that a moment. Thanks for watching. Alright, come on. Okay. So, yeah. When all else fails, brute force prevails. Bigger hammer, and one of the things I did was use this pickle fork a lot. So I hit it with the hammer to smash these tongs closer together, and a couple times on that, and it just popped right out. And of course the boot was already messed up, so it is what it is, but everything looks great. I'm now moving on to get this plate off, so let's do that. Done. Okay, so these are 12mm bolts, and they have these little stands. They're on little stands, and I probably should just take them off. I'll put that bolt back. And then this thing actually cleaned up pretty well. It was just covered in grease, but clean that up. Put that over here with the other parts. Okay, just keeping them all together. Okay, so now what I've done as well as doing that was I took the fuel pump off. Not the fuel pump, the fuel filter assembly. I cleaned that up. Set that to the side, put another tag in it, another rag. Those are the two bolts that came out of there. You can see they're not the right bolts. They got extra washers on them and stuff, so I need to replace those with proper washers. Now what I'm going to do is take off the accelerator linkage, which is held by a little pin here. I'm going to take this pin off too and take this kill linkage off so that we don't have anything in our way. And then we realize that I have to take these hydraulic lines off. This is a hard line which cannot be removed from the back very easily. So in order for these to move back, this has to come off. This has to come off. So that's what I'm working on right now. You can see it's a really big one. What is that? 1/16 inch. And then on this side, it was a completely different size. I think this was, this size is 24 millimeter on this side. And I have no idea what's on the bottom, but I'll show you that in a minute. So, let's make it happen. Alright, so it's a 10 mil to unscrew, to loosen this up, which is the accelerator linkage. It is also a 10 mil to take this nut off of the kill lever, because you can't get the rod through here. You can't pull the rod out this way because this is fixed in place. So even though I can disconnect it, I couldn't pull it through, so I had to take the knob off to get it out the other side. And of course the fuel filter's gone. I've been cleaning up, And I'm getting ready to try to crack these guys off, because at this point, the only thing holding them together is this here. It says we're clear here. Oh, these two things as well. We're clear on this side. And we're also clear on this side, except for these, which I'll get to right now. Okay. 2 19-inch bolts out, which fought me the entire way. 2 inch and a 16th bolts out, which also fought me the entire way. Now I need to lay down on the ground, so I got to clean all this up so I can get under there and get to these bolts under here. So let's make that happen, shall we? Done. Okay. What a mess those nuts and bolts were. I mean, there's ones in the bottom are loose. One of them just fell out basically, but that's off. We pulled both of the arms off. Pulled off the back, so we had a little more room. Right now we're working on cribbing and supporting for the engine, because at this point we're ready to start loosening things up, but almost. I still have to get the housing off for the 4-wheel drive shaft, which is, I believe there's a pin under here. Is there a pin back here? Yes, it looks like a rolled pin back there. I'm gonna grab onto that with a pair of pliers and pull that out, and that should come off. And it comes out of here. And I'm not sure about what's going on in the front.
Just measure that.
Just leave that alone, but that should pull this out. So let me get a pair of pliers and pull that out. Right now we are trying to get the hydraulic fuel lines, high pressure line, and the return lines. Got the return line off. I got 2
Can you hold that thing?
bolts out. This one is rounded off and would not come out. So we are attempting to get enough pressure to make it twist. We're compounding the pressure here, working together with many arms.
Nope, it's just rolling along. Okay. Whip. That is not moving.
It didn't move? Alright.
And I see the problem.
Do we want to try to pound an 11 onto it?
You got a
Star socket? Sacrifice
I see
socket?
it's the spot in between this fitting and the bolt is just totally rounded.
Right.
You know what I want to do?
Now what?
I want to take a hacksaw to this and then just get a flathead on it. See if we can turn it that way.
Alright. We can do that. Alright, we'll come back with a hacksaw.
Yep.
Alright, so yeah, you gotta drain the transmission fluid. You can't just separate it. I tried just taking it apart and it didn't work. So this is our draining technique. We've got a 5-gallon bucket over there. We've got a PVC tube that's been cut at an angle, just perfect. We're using the plug, the drain plug, as a dam to make all the fluid go the other way. This is only bucket was when I originally thought I could just pull the plug and it would just drain out a little bit, but no, it just kept going. So you absolutely have to take it out. So we've got a standby 5-gallon bucket right here. And in order to get our angle of the dangle, we had to just do a little excavation. Just a little bit. But that's basically as fast as it was coming out when I took that hose off, which is blurbled out. We had a heck of a time getting these out, but they're out. We should probably replace that O-ring. I need to make sure I have that O-ring before we reassemble this, and definitely this new tube here and all the clamps, because that is just crap. I don't want that. So we're draining, getting ready for a bucket change. And a storm's moving in on us, so we'll see what happens.
Do not do anymore.
Oh. Okay. So here we are. We have pulled all of the bolts out. And of course it has just started to rain. We've supported the front with a bottle jack. And we've got the back with the car jack. And this is just what's coming out because we just cracked the case. And this is all the water and fluid that was in there that I told you guys about that's coming out from in between the two casings.
We have to push with the tires. And Danny might have to pull on the jack while we do it.
Right?
Should I go get Corey? Yeah. Alright, I'll be right back.
I'll show you more in a minute. Alright. Tractor is apart. Combination. Boy, does it look terrible in here. Hang on, look at this. Now we're trying to get the clutch off. See the broken fingers. So more in a minute. In a rainstorm. Alright. So, we're taking a break for lunch. I've got to come over here and clean this out, clean this up. We've got to do the throw out bearing. Got to come out of the housing. You can see how bad this is. It's pretty bad. I'm not going to touch it. I just washed my hands. And we'll have to resurface this. A little bit of emery cloth. But what an amazing accomplishment. And again, we're using the bottom of the crates that I built our chicken coop with. Fits in between the tractor tires. So, well, thanks for following along. It's 2 o'clock here in Florida. It's supposed to be clear blue skies and, white sun, but instead we have hurricane coming in or some kind of major storm. It's all up and down the East Coast. Phlegm, or I don't know. But we're taking a break. I came out to double check and make sure everything was covered. When it rains really heavy, it splashes up sand onto everything. I don't care about that. That's got to be cleaned and probably washed anyway. And I just came outside. These are all the final bolts. So all the bell housing bolts and stuff. It's all going to have to be cleaned up before we put it back together. Well, here's the clutch. Look at that. The clutch actually looks in great shape. Yeah. I still won't use it. I should cover this stuff up with a tarp as well. You can see all the tools and stuff sprawled and spread out all over the place. Supervisor hard at work. And there you go. So this is what it's like to work on a tractor in a carport. Well, imagine how hard it would be to be out in this rainstorm right now. Oh, wait, right? Let me go all the way around again. Hold on. Okay, because over there, that is where we were going to be doing this. Okay? So not only is it out in the elements, but it's also walkie all the way back and forth to the house if you need something. So I'm so glad we're just doing this right here in this carport. We got the pickup truck back there, and there's the tools and seating arrangement. Got the van right there for extra seating and watching. Hold the jet ski and the boat out there because they need their own services when I get done with this. So hey, thanks for following along and watching. Watching, right? Hope to see you in the next video. which will hopefully be me cleaning all this up and getting it ready, because there's a whole prep for that. So, see you then. Love you later. Bye.